Let's turn up some volume. Let's turn up some Valium. Oh, I have taken Valium before, back in the day. It may or may not have been prescribed to me. Yeah, back in those days. Pre-Tulley days, I think. Yes. Um, Back to work today and game changer. Game changer. Game changer. I heard his mom's church service went very well, and my grandson did show up. I did not know that. I probably would have went if I'd have known my grandson was going to be there, but that's okay. Um, they may or may not. I checked in with mom. They may or may not. Maybe mom's like, oh, I don't want to put the little guy through two services. That's fine. Wanted the little guy to see all of his friends. I felt like that would have been important. And just to see a different side of his dad, just to see, just to get a feel, because man, that's a great bunch of people, man. My son's friends, that's a great bunch of people. Y'all know who y'all are. Pat yourselves on the back. And getting to raise Tulley, I was able to know all of y'all well, and just y'all are just thriving. And I wanted him to see that. But hopefully they'll be there. Hopefully they'll be there. I just asked her today, and I hadn't heard back, but she might be feeling it out. You know, she's a good mom, she's a cautious mom. You know, she wants to dot all the I's and cross all the T's of what's best for her child, in her opinion. She doesn't need my opinion. Like, well, let me tell you what's best for him. He needs to see, well, thank you. I've heard your statement that he might should see that. I just said it would be good for him. I think it would be good for him. That's all. Didn't tell her to do, just said, I threw out the suggestion. I believe the Lord works everything all out for the counsel of his good will. So I just don't sweat it, man. You can't sweat it. And I'm just telling you, getting back to work today, seeing my adult students, and they're like, where were you? And when I told them, and I was able to tell them with a straight face, not a tear in my eye, told them the situation, told them what happened. I was in work mode, man. I was like, but I will tell y'all something a little bit on the negative side. I have lost 6 pounds in between moving and not working out, getting out of my routine. Because, see, that's what my whole life was all about, this routine. A lot of sleep on the weekends, working out. So when you see me Saturday, you're going to be like, dang, boy, he looks rough. I'm too skinny. I went from 170 to 163. And I might weigh 160, basically a pound a day since my son's death. A pound a day that I've just, that just stress has burned off of me. Just stress. I'm still getting decent sleep. Just, it's stress will burn it off of you like you're in a sauna. And I've lost muscle. But you know what? It'll come back. My free testosterone and my testosterone, my doctor was like, are you sure you're not taking something? I can tell you my free test. I was telling my friend Guy, because Guy and I, we like to keep up with all that. And we were comparing and contrasting how good our scores were, you know, all natural, doing it the right way. And I told him today, I said, no, man, I don't want to be tested now. I'm weak. I'm scrawny. I can tell that my free testosterone is way down, because stress will do that. So you have to be, I was very happy and healthy. And he said, it'll come back. And I know he's right. And again, I'm very happy. No more conspiracy theory. That calling is gone. It's buried with my son. So definitely try to reconnect with people that maybe I had upset with all that. That my social media platform at that time was built for a certain way. And if it wasn't for you, I'm sorry, but this is what I need to do now. And I just don't need to do it anymore. It's just gonzo. This platform has been very helpful, useful, thriving for my son. Well, his passing and soothing me. And so I will pay it forward with no longer upsetting y'all, since y'all have used this platform to soothe me. You're not going to get anything from me anymore unsoothing. Does that make sense? Yes, of course it does. So, yeah, I will still be doing the daily Bible studies eventually when I get my place cleaned up. I am looking into a townhouse. I've realized the townhouses, there's two different sets of townhouses downtown Winter Haven, and the ones that were too expensive, those are actually way over on 2nd Street. Somebody was telling me the day who designed them. It's the Leedy townhouses right next to Chamber of Commerce that I want to get into. And one's up for lease, like year leases. And I'm like, I told my realtor, best realtor on earth, Brock Jennings, I said, see if they want to sell. I said, look, they would sell it for $220 million. So just see what their price is to sell. Because I don't know. I'm not lonely here tonight. I'm back to where I was before my son's passing. I don't feel lonely back out here in South Lakeland anymore. I did up until about 5:30, 5:45, 6 o'clock. I had a conversation with somebody in my condominium, and what we discussed, it just made me feel like, you know what? I'm going to be good where I'm at. I'm going to be good where I'm at. And I thank them, because it was a conversation I needed. And I love the people at the Haven. I'm going to miss them, but this is a better place. I got a backyard. I got a garage. I'll just join new gyms. And, but if I can get back to downtown Winter Haven, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But we'll see if it's meant to be. All in the will of the Lord. But feeling way better today than I did yesterday, every day. And I just keep hearing from people, and they checking in on me. And that's why I like to do these, because I know if I'm hearing from 10 people, that means 100 people are curious. And I was talking to one friend, and their wife said, how's Trey doing? Right? So you just do these videos. Nobody's got to ask anybody. So God bless every one of you. I believe the Lord has worked everything out for the counsel of his own will. So last night I really prayed to lift the sadness off of me. And because I felt really bad. I'll just go ahead and tell you all the truth. I was walking around in Whole Foods last night and I was crying. Yeah, like this heaviness, just really, just like, it was like, now, not crying to where people can see that you're crying, but you're like walking around and you're crying, but you're not really crying, or your eyes are watering up, but nobody can tell you're crying. But you're just like, you're walking around, you're walking through that. You're just going through the motions, man. You're just on autopilot because you've shopped 1,000 times in your life at a Whole Foods, even though it's a different Whole Foods. You're on some kind of auto. But you're just sad. I mean, I was sad last night, y'all. And it just lifted. It just lifted. And it'll come and go. It'll come and go. And it does. But I was sad moving. So this is, and I went back tonight to get more stuff, and I was looking out my windows. And with my son's passing, I was looking out my windows, and I'm like, I don't want to leave. Um, Judy's cleaned this place up. I just want to come back. And then I was talking to somebody, and I was like, you don't need to come back. That's not what you move for a reason. It's yeah. But if I move back, it would be to move into a townhouse, which is why I moved here. I wanted to find a townhouse. I wanted to own the land underneath me. And townhouses are almost like condos, but you legally own the land underneath you. They're under different penalties from the condo world, the way the state of Florida is changing with condos and restrictions and insurance. And I made a business decision to seek out townhouses, and they're hard to come by. They're hard to come by, and I just the best ones for the money ended up being in South Lakeland, and I was like, well, it's closer to a different Whole Foods, and they're putting one in Sefner. They said in 2026. Well, that's a long time away. That'll be a 30-minute drive instead of my 45 or 50-minute to Tampa. But I'll tell you what, there's no traffic, very minimal traffic. My drive to Tampa and back is, yes, it's interstate, but it's smooth. Tampa's already, there's no Disney World on my way. There's no Disney and Sea and Universal. All those hotels. I miss that region. My grandmother, I grew up in Orlando during the summer. My grandmother and my uncles lived in Orlando. So Orlando's always been home to me. And people are always like, I hate Orlando. Orlando's so transient. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I like it. I like walking around their Whole Foods and seeing everybody from every kind of country in the world. Or if there's a convention. And I remember one time the place was crawling with Japanese people. And one lady was beautiful. And I asked her, I was like, what's going on? Of course, she's the one I picked to ask, right? I'm like, what's going on? And she couldn't speak English, but she stuck her cell phone in my face and wanted me to speak into the cell phone. I said, why are there so many Asian people here? And she's like, oh, and she read it in the translation, and then she translated back to me that there was a convention in town, and she described the convention. And so yeah, it's like I never minded it. And I didn't mind a little bit of the extra traffic. I've always just liked Orlando, and everybody else hates Orlando. Everybody loves Tampa, hates Orlando. And I'm like, they're both very different. But I can find pros and cons in both. And my only pro for Tampa? Just better traffic. That's all. That's all. Better traffic. Other than that, I actually like Orlando. So there's that. All right. Love y'all very much. And I will keep asking the Lord to continue to remove the melancholy. Because he knows I know that everything is his will. He knows that. I've been telling y'all that. And if I've been telling y'all that, well, then don't I have to live it? Don't I have to practice what you preach? That man has no free will. Everything's the will of God. Haven't I been telling y'all that? Well, then if I'm telling y'all that, and then something doesn't go my way, just like Job, do you then renege on the whole, like, oh, nope, nope, and nope? Yup. So, all right. Yeah, I got emotional looking in his eyes, like it just started getting the best of me. So those are little, like I was literally walking around, I mean, driving home tonight, and I was like, I don't know about like having a lot of pictures up because I've never had a lot of pictures up because I don't know, man. It's I'll look at that photo, I get sad. So I don't know. I don't know, man. All right. So that time I just really stared at the photo and I was okay. So it's just little like little things will trigger. Yep. So I don't really, that's why I definitely wanted to have somebody host because you don't know how you're going to be. When that, you know, at Kersey, they throw all these photos, and Shelly was like, she brought her photos to Kersey and she apologized. I said, yeah, you can use Shelly's memorial photos. That's one thing off the plate. And she goes, well, not a lot of them of you on there because you weren't coming to the memorial. I was like, that's okay. Y'all, I don't sweat the small stuff. I just don't. I got Facebook. Y'all have got y'all's own pictures of Tully. You know, I've got my own pictures of Tully. I don't need my pictures of he and I to be all over his memorial. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. Okay. The Lord gave me the privilege to be his dad, to raise him. I'm good. I'm just, I'm, yes, I'm not worried about little stuff like that. So, you know, at the moment, and I still I'll try to contact her, and because people are sending me pictures, and I would love for the pictures they're sending me to also be included, but I don't know if I did order my son's flowers, and that was cool. That was special. And then she asked me what to write on it, and I was like, ooh. So that was a trigger. It was a trigger, but I got his flowers. And it's going to be the color. She was like, do you want it to be certain colors? And I'm right. I'm telling y'all straight up. Y'all know I was like, get the green and the silver. That's what your walls are. I swear that's what I was thinking. Oh. And then I was like thinking, and she's like, or do you just want like all? So I was, yes, yes, yeah, just all assorted colors. I said, just make it beautiful. She gave me a pretty high end price range because she could tell I really wanted to do it up, and I said, "Yep." Kind of the money is when you're the dad, it's money is no object, right? You can't. And but yeah, literally the only time today I got like emotional was when she asked me, what do you want the card to say?" She's just doing her job. She's just like, well, "What do you want the card to say?" And it hit me. I'm like, dang. And then it was like, what do I say? You know? And then she's like, well, and then you want to sign at what? Yeah, I had to regroup a little bit, but it was, I refer to him as my little boy, you know. I miss my little boy or something like that. And I think I signed off like, love dad, something like that. So, there's, those finalities, those triggers. But I'm telling y'all, today was a good day. And it's just going to keep getting better. At work, I was in work mode and just cooking with grease and talking to the lady at Kersey, talking to my son's mom, um, just yapping, handling that business with doing my job, and even worked into the night with my job. And you know how they say, throw yourself into your work. Y'all remember when I told you I said I'm going to work the next day when I heard the news from the officers until I told his mom? It's a big reason why, man. You're no better sitting around the house than you are just going to work. I found that out today. Like I was very happy to be at work. But I teach adults, so I love my job. Like I love my job. But yeah, I can look in my son's eyes now and I can tell y'all, I said I love my son, I miss my son, love dad without getting upset. So it's these little breakthroughs that I have to do with y'all. So thank you. And I'm going to be okay because, well, if the Lord wills it, I'm going to be okay. And I'm good with the Lord's will. And everything give thanks, for this is the will of God concerning you. And there was another Bible verse that I thought of that was very, 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 very telling. Let me pause and see if I can think of what it was. See if the Holy Spirit will put it in my head. Hang on. Well, that's just going to have to be meant for another day because the only thing is, have you ever tried to think about a song while you're listening to a song? All that keeps running through my head is, and everything give thanks, for this is the will of God concerning you. So I can't think of what it was when I was driving home, a Bible verse, and it was just like very fitting to this situation, um, about how to be good with it. And because we're basically told to be, I can't, I shouldn't even paraphrase it like that, but it's in that realm. Like in everything, give thanks, for this is the will of God concerning you. Everything. Oh, all right. Duty calls. All right. Love y'all.